Hello, everyone. I'm Austin Light with American Demon Comics, and I'm joined by Brandon Ingram with Dismay Comics. How are you doing, Brandon? We didn't have much of a pre-show, just you know getting our topics kind of figured out. But I do want to know how you're doing. Uh,
Pretty good. Things have been pretty good. For some dumb reason, I stayed up really late last night. And then usually I'm not the person that takes her. I got woken up by my sister early this morning to take her to work. And I was like, oh no. Like, as soon as that happened, after I took her, I could not fall back to sleep the rest of the day.
oh
I
yeah.
feel fine now, but I know like come 9 o'clock, probably, I'll probably be out, sort of thing.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
but yeah, things have been good. Uh, it's really just been grinding regarding Gallows Man stuff and various other comic stuff. But yeah, the Gallows Man stuff is like it's it's it's. I love doing Kickstarters, but they're always so busy. Like you have, especially with us when we have like day job sort of thing. You don't really have any other creative time
Hmm.
when you're doing a Kickstarter. Most of the focus is on the Kickstarter and that one book, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
it's been going good. I finally I have all the stuff done. The Kickstarter page is completely done. I might rearrange some stuff within the next week or so. I'll just fill it out, sort of thing. Um, yeah, that's done. I finished all of Gallows Man number 3 is finished. Um, there's just one tiny tweak to one page we're trying to do, and that's it. I even my stuff that I have to do, the very little amount of interior stuff that I have to do, I'm done with that. Regarding like my behind the scenes writing stuff, like I have pages regarding that and all that. Finished all that, so things things are good. Less than 2 weeks away. I feel confident about this Kickstarter.
Awesome. Yes, it is less than 2 weeks away, and that is a Tuesday. Not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after when your Kickstarter goes up, and that is a good day to start. Um, I believe. How long is it going to run? What day is it going to end on?
I think October 11th. I usually try to have them end on a Friday. Um, so I think it's October 11th. So September 10th, October 11th. And launch time, I've been going back and forth with it. I might just do what I did last time. I think it worked fine. And I've also looked at recent data and statistics and stuff. And I'll probably just do a 12 p.m. noon launch sort of thing. Because it seems to go fine.
Good. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, I'm not sure if I'll be doing a show next. Yeah, next week I should be able to do it. The week after is the Paracon, and I might be getting ready to do the Paracon and be uh, on top of my chores and stuff. So that
Yeah, yeah.
but so next week we can do a show and we'll talk about the tiers that you have planned as more of it gets fleshed out as you get closer to that uh, time. And but yeah, excited. Um, and I'm planning on hopefully when I do another Kickstarter, I want to do everything in advance as much as possible. I was still able to work on my pages and everything. I mean, I do get to do it at my job, so that is a bonus. But I was still able to do my pages. I would post something about the Kickstarter, reach out to some people about things, and then I would still get to kind of work on it and I really had to because those were the last pages in issue number 2 that were getting
Yeah,
done
yeah.
during the Kickstarter. But um, if I can kind of foresee now, if I get that, you know, 3-month head start on getting it started, then there will be a lot more room to to have some breathing time in
Yeah,
between.
you'll have like a big weight off your shoulders sort of thing, because that's ultimately why I like to plan so far in advance with a Kickstarter. Is one, I like to have the book completely done or like 99% done, so that there isn't that sweating, which there's not a ton of sweating, but I mean it's a thing.
Well, considering most are not even started
Yeah, yeah,
for some
exactly.
Kickstarters, so
Yeah, yeah, you can find some of those, and oh my gosh, it's a whole other topic. But I was on Kickstarter the other day. There's so many, at the very least, AI thumbnail Kickstarters,
mm,
like comic ones, and it's so freaking frustrating. They have like AI thumbnails, and then it's 50-50. You can then go to the thing and could just be a freaking AI comic on Kickstarter,
wow,
because that's something that I guess Kickstarter allows. Because if you go to set up a Kickstarter campaign, one of the questions it'll ask is like, it's near the risk and challenges things. It'll ask
hmm,
you, like, does any of this material, essentially the question, they phrase it a different way, but it's like, is any of it AI? Is any of it AI generated? Um, and you have to be upfront about that. But even with being upfront about that, it seems to be okay. Um, I haven't
right.
seen a ton of AI comics. That is something that is there. But the most common thing I've seen is AI thumbnails. And then the thing that pisses me off, AI covers. And their chart, and it's
That sounds like a
that's
bad
another,
omen for the comic.
already this is something I hate with Kickstarters. Not even talking about AI covers. I hate the amount of covers there are with a lot of these Kickstarters. I
Hmm.
understand you're raising funds, and having all the covers helps raise the funds, and all that. I get it. I just hate having like A to O cover
Yeah,
where it's like half the alphabet. You have like 15 plus covers for this
yeah.
one comic. That's not, it's even Marvel or DC doing 15 covers is egregious. You're not Marvel or
Oh yeah,
DC, man. Like, don't do 15 covers. Um,
yeah. The Wolverine versus Predator. Uh, one of their issues, I think, had three different covers on it. Um, and I didn't like any of them, but I was
yeah.
like, this one's the coolest. I'm gonna get it.
With
So,
Marvel and DC, I'm okay with like an issue number one of a new series rolling out having five covers or whatever.
yeah.
Like, it's a part of the market. Like, people, there's some people, everyone collects differently, and that's fine. There's some people that just collect because it's like, I like the way the covers look, or it's like,
Right.
I want to collect all the sets. I want to collect
Hmm.
the sets of covers, that sort of thing. Um, that's fine. Once you get into further issues, though, don't have more than like Marvel or DC. Don't have more than three covers, sort of
Right.
thing. Um, Kickstarter people, stop. Like, I get it helps raise your funds, but it's so annoying. At least
Hmm.
for me, it's just, I don't know. In my opinion, I'm gonna sound like a complete like
Curmudgeon.
turd now. Yeah, yeah. In my opinion, it's like, it's a, man, this is going to sound so bad. It's a lazy way of raising funds, because the reason I mentioned that, like, not even talking about the AI cover, if you're having 5, 10, 15 covers sort of thing, do you not have enough trust in your actual story and the actual interiors to where you're selling the comic based on the covers?
Hmm.
And I get that if you walk into a comic shop, the thing that catches people's eyes is the cover. But like at some point, you need to have faith in your interiors,
Yeah.
and show, you need to show more interiors than you're showing covers. That's at
Yeah.
least my thought about a
Yeah.
Kickstarter and trying to pitch your freaking comic. Like, I don't know. If you're
I'm right
just
there
doing
with you.
covers, I love covers. Don't get me wrong. There are some great covers out there. But if you're just doing covers, it's like, is this a comic Kickstarter, or are you just trying to sell me like poster prints?
Right.
Like that's what this could
Put them
be.
in
It
the
could just be a
interior.
poster print.
Pick 2 or 3 that you want to show, be the covers, and then like if you have people that are like reaching out with their own covers, or you have somebody that's related to you, like I know somebody did a Kickstarter earlier in the summer, and he had like a few people, like 2 or 3 covers from like a daughter, and it's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
put those, like choose some, and then you can
Put
fill
some
some
in the
back
back of
pages
the
with them.
book.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what, like, if you want to be taken seriously, that's what the big companies do. Like they'll put like some of the back pages, like this extra material and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If you want to do that, it's just one. Sorry, like it just
No,
has
I
my gears
it's
grinding. The AI cover thing is egregious because
yeah.
because they're charging more than a cover A price for these, when it's like no one did the work and you're charging $30 for a cover or whatever, and you have 10 of them, like
Mhm.
different AI covers.
I'd be curious to see
That's
how many of the AI ones get selected,
yeah, yeah.
and how well an overall AI project is doing.
Yeah, I'll have to look more closely and see like the pledges and stuff on some of those, but I just saw like a list of them. Like someone had posted in like a Facebook group saying like, please report these Kickstarters and stuff. And like I agree, I don't want them on there, but apparently they can be on there. I don't know. But yeah, it was just one of those things where I was like, uh, like
I
it's
almost go ahead.
well, I was gonna say it's also frustrating because the average person, some of these do look pretty decent. I've seen enough AI though. I've seen a ton of AI to be like, that's AI. And then you
Hmm.
scroll at the bottom, that's the plus side with the one Kickstarter thing. They shouldn't have AI on it. The plus side is at the bottom. It'll tell you if they have AI or not.
Right.
But yeah, it was one of those things where it's just like I there are people, the average person is going to look at this, and half of these covers they're going to be like, that's a good cover. And
Hmm.
I agree, it does look good. It's AI though,
Yeah.
it's not human made, it's not real.
Right.
And some sucker is going to get like tricked into buying it, or they don't care. I think that's the majority of the average person, is they don't
Hmm.
know the ramifications of AI, of what it will lead to. And so they're like, yeah, I don't care if this cover is made by AI. I like the way it looks. I'll get it.
Right. Um. Well, I'd be curious because, like, I don't see, uh, from my campaign standpoint, I had some fans that actually liked what I was doing online, like just a few. And then I had a lot of people from these interviews that you introduced me to, and um, those all were all all those people seem like they would be knowledgeable as to what they're
Yeah, yeah.
getting. Um, so again, I'd be very interested to see how an AI comic is marketing itself outside of the Kickstarter. If it's getting fans and getting follows, and if it's getting traction as a story, how they push people, an audience, to their stuff. Like I get it if it's an organic comic that somebody got, like one of the variants is an AI, like you know
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's going to slip through the cracks for most people. But um, if it's entire, if there's one that's just like all AI covers, or the whole story was made with AI, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, because
Um,
that's the one of the ones I saw, the one I'm talking about with the covers, it seemed like the interiors were actually original art interiors, which is good. The downside though is, one, I hate these AI covers. I hate that you have AI covers with like actual original art essentially, being the interiors. And it also, for people like me, makes me question, well, if this is AI, like the interiors could be AI. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, they're not AI, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, if you're willing to use it for covers, like I'm sure you're willing to use it for interiors then.
And AI can get to a point where it could be unrecognizable.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
There's
yeah,
just
yeah.
there's if it hasn't already happened, it's soon to happen where it'll know how to cover up its kind of like gloss
Oh
that
yeah.
it
Yeah.
sometimes has.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I remember uh year and a half ago, whenever the big talk of AI happened, maybe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago, the big talk of AI happening. Um, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is scary." But where it's at, it's like you got the fingers, and like it just looks weird. It's like I knew from that moment, it's like it's just going to get better.
Hmm.
And if you look at modern day AI, it's gotten a lot better. Um, that's why there's more and more of these AI comics,
Hmm.
is it's gotten better. Um, that's the thing that's sad about all of it. But we have old farts up in Washington. I don't care what political line you ride. I don't ride on either one. They This stuff is above their head. They're all
Hmm.
old. You're mentioning the AI stuff. There needs to be AI regulation and stuff. It's not affecting them right now. It's not affecting their pockets. So it's not going to be something that they are rushing to make legislation for. That's
Well,
what sucks.
the sad truth is, I don't think there would ever be legislation to hinder it. Um, at first, I want to talk about. I almost did use AI music for the
Mhm.
video. Um, I was very close to doing that, just because you can put in a prompt and kind of get some selections. Like it will generate like several options, and I was like, that might be a good way to hit on something that, um, like, right where I like. That way, it's just like a spaghetti throw on the
Yeah, yeah.
wall, and maybe one of them will be what I like. Um, and uh, they were all AI music. It was not terrible, not great, um, but uh, I do have a friend that makes music, and I felt like I was having to do the Kickstarter like so last minute that if I was going to have him have make music for me, he would have had to have started like
Yeah, yeah.
2 months prior. And I'm more than willing to pay, for it and have him produce it and everything. And I know that he would probably have a good idea on how I would like it to sound. But I was like, it'll be last minute. I can't. But my girlfriend was like, come on, get Dylan to do something, get him to make you something, or show you some stuff he already has. And I was like, he does have a library. So um, I did reach out to him, and since he's not like a musician that's like actively building up a musical like career
Right,
at
right.
the moment, um, it's not. He was kind of inexpensive, but he had some good tracks that I could choose from, and I just paid him some money, and he gave me the tracks, and had kind of like a an agreement that I now kind of have partial ownership to this, so that it can play in
Yeah, yeah.
um, but I don't think that legislation can shake this, because, like you said, it's only going to get better, and there there's the risk that if you were to throttle it here, because it can only be throttled in America, if we were trying to get legislation, the
Yeah,
only
yeah,
surefire thing is that it gets throttled here. There's no guarantee that Canada would do it. There's no guarantee that the UK would do it, but China's definitely not going to do that.
yeah,
And
yeah,
if businesses need to have, if they're wanting to get something cheap, they'll
yeah.
outsource it
They'll, yeah,
to Canada, and whoever's taking care of the AI department or
yeah, yeah.
whatever here
No,
is getting,
it's one of those
so
things where yeah, it's never going to go away. Like there's no amount of legislation that can make it go away. And as much as I hate AI, if you build a lot of that legislation in, at least with the United States, it's going to become pretty unconstitutional. Um, so as much as I hate AI, there is that. Um, but yeah, like it, I there is legislation though that I think can not hinder it, but more regulate it. I think there can be regulations on it. Um, they just have to put their brains together and figure out how to do it. So
those dusty
um,
brains.
yes, those dusty brains that are making millions, um, and sometimes it's embarrassing. I no, I don't think that's no one watches C-SPAN. I don't watch C-SPAN. No one watches C-SPAN.
Mm-mm.
But if you have ever tuned into like C-SPAN highlights, if there can
Yeah.
be highlights of C-SPAN, if you're watching C-SPAN, stop. That has to be the most boring thing in your life ever. Um, but yeah, like highlights and stuff. You see, like it sounds like children arguing
Oh
sometimes.
yeah.
And it's like we're paying, like they're getting paid millions just to like do this. Like I
Now, not
I'm not.
technically.
Yeah, 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 yeah. On
It's
record,
a little under the
they're getting about 150,000 a year,
right.
but really, it's uh, yeah. It's just one of those things where I am pro government. I think you need a government. The issue is you need a government that works for the people, and
Right. It's hard to
no,
do that when the businesses take over, and
yeah, yeah,
I'm very capitalist
yeah, yeah,
minded, considering our ventures, and the blessing that we get to do these things here, that we do. Um, but with businesses getting so massive and so global too, it's like our federal government would never compare, and then the only reason they do compare is because they're in the pocket.
yeah.
So it's always a losing battle when it comes to, you know the haves and have nots, but we do our best.
At the end of the day, I forgot what book it was. It's a Japanese book that I didn't even read. One of the college youth kids told me about it, and I read some passages from it. There was a really good, and I'm going to be paraphrasing. There's a really good part where it essentially says, "Tend to your own garden." Essentially, what that means is what you are able to actually affect as yourself. Focus on that. No one here, me, Austin, anyone listening, is individually going to ever be able to affect the world as a whole.
Hmm.
Like that's obvious. What you can affect though, what you can focus on and craft is your garden, essentially your house, your home, your family. You can also affect the neighborhood. You can affect the community. You can affect your town through voting, through different stuff. There's
Hmm.
there's multiple things that we can do. So the main thing is we're not. might not be able to affect the big picture, but tend to your garden. Focus on that, and everything else ultimately doesn't matter in the end. What matters is what is around you, what you can actually do.
Right. Oh, Brandon. Yeah, I think that there's some biblical passages that say something along those lines. You
Yeah,
know, essentially, you do what you can control, and that's what you worry about. You don't worry
yeah,
about anything. You know that God wouldn't have to take care of.
yeah.
Himself. So, uh, I had Chinese food and it is starting to set. I'm so it's making me so drowsy and I'm like, no. And I'm so full. Uh anyways, um I'm not a huge I am and I'm not a hater of AI, and I feel like I hope that the organic passion in creative avenues shines through
Yeah,
in and can be seen and is still appreciated. And that's all I can hope for
yeah, yeah,
in this moving world.
yeah.
But
Because I'd mentioned my AI creative thoughts. Like I'm big against it, but there are great applications to AI in our world. Um, Biggest one for me, as well as a lot of people, there's a ton of different ones. There's AI usage that can be used in hospital and medical fields. There's all kinds of different stuff. The one that I'm going to like a lot as it's developing is translation. Um, we're going to be able to better connect with people if you go to a different country, or if people are coming here, in around my church and stuff, there are a lot of non-English speakers. So as those tools and stuff develop, and it being literally right here, I saw like a Google Pixel commercial the other day. I've seen it in like AMC theaters and stuff, but essentially just being able to talk, have them hear it, they talk, have you hear it. We're already there. We're
yeah.
already at that point. What is that translation? What is translation going to look like 5, 10 years from now? That's the stuff that I like, that I'm excited
Hmm.
for.
Yeah. I think I think there will be some net benefits, but we will only have to live it. Um, so, Brandon, you have got mm, two new indie comics today. Would you like to
Yes.
share with the class?
Yes. I'll first share. I'll share this one first, and I'll get to the other one in a second. So I got Beeswax number 3. It's by Matt Atkinson, or Matthew Atkinson. He's a buddy of mine. Met him. It's been a year ago, but he's a great guy. He's got his own series that he's been doing, Beeswax, and me, him, and a few other artists are working on something right now. But um, I've read issue 1 of this. I haven't read issue 2 yet. This is the third issue. Um, Sometime this week, if I find the time, I'll read issues 2 and 3. But I really like this cover. This cover is
Yeah,
really nice. Um,
yeah. It's very. It's like a poster.
yeah, yeah, it's really nice. And he with all his covers. Let me see if I can find the others. He did the first 2 covers, then he commissioned a guy to do the third cover. And yeah, he commissioned him, but I think it's like he knows the guy. He's like personally friends
Mm-hmm.
with the guy. But these are the like that's issue 1,
Yeah, I
then
remember seeing that.
that's issue 2. But yeah, I got issue 3 now. I'll check them out. I'll read issue 2 and 3. sometime soon and see what I think about it. The big indie one though, this guy sent it to me, and it came to my house fast. It's crazy how fast it got to me. I think the guy lives in like Japan or something, but somehow he got it to me like I'm assuming 2 days or something like that. But
That's crazy. That's a jet.
it's I think it's called Envy. It's number
Wow, I've never
2,
seen that one
issue number
before.
2. Yeah, and I have actually read this guy's work before. I've read Envy before through Webtoon. So maybe he's like from South Korea or something. He does Webtoon. Maybe that's where he's from. I've read the Webtoon, but he's changed a lot of it and crafted into comic form. And I'm now going to, since I have this, I wanted to wait till I had this. I'm now going to read issue 1 and 2 back to back, and I'll have to probably mail my letter, my review to him. He's probably South Korean. It'll take a little while, but
You'll have to do the AI translate
yeah.
to
So
make sure.
it'll hopefully nothing gets mistranslated, and like when I say something is good, it doesn't sound like this is dog crap. Hopefully, there's no mistranslation right there.
Oh, it'll probably come back saying it is dog crap, and there will be no confusion.
But yeah,
uh,
this is Austin's comic. Um, he sent it 2 days ago. I got it. I'm probably the first one in terms of having stuff mailed out get theirs. So I'm happy about that. I saw the original art as well included in there. Very nice of Fritz. Um, yes, I'm looking forward to reading this.
awesome. I'm glad it came in good condition. I'm biting my nails for everybody else's. Um, but I use the click and ship USPS, um, and when I went to go to the post office to send them out, they were closed, and they close at 4:15 every day. And I was like, I'm going to struggle to get these out this week because I'm just busy.
Yeah.
But they have 2 mailboxes out front. And I was like, I don't know how these work. I don't know if I can put packages in these. And, I don't know if they'll like wait a week before they check these. I don't know how this works. But I
I
was like,
think they check them like every morning or something.
yeah, I think they check them frequently. But I didn't know. I was just gonna like, I'm gonna cross my fingers and just put these in here and hope that they send mail out. Because I've mailed some letters, I've mailed some individual packages to you and to some friends through my mailbox, and or when the post office is open and I could
Right.
take it up to them. So that was my first time using that, and it seems like it's working. So
Worked
that's
pretty
good.
well. Yeah, that's something that's interesting with doing the comics and Kickstarters and stuff is like before my first Kickstarter, like my first successful one in 2021, before that, in terms of mailing, the most I did was like mail an occasional letter to like, or after high school, writing like thank you letters to those that like gave me graduation cards and
Mm-hmm.
graduation money and stuff like that. Writing thank you letters and mailing those out. And then writing the occasional letter to like a relative who doesn't do email or text sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was very like little though, to where once I did Kickstarter, learning how to like just do packages was
Yeah.
like completely different to where now like I'm like, yeah, I'm sending packages out all the time. Um,
Pro.
growing up, part of growing up. Um, but no, it came in great. Um, I one recommendation I have is for future ones, consider don't do Comics Wellspring. I think theirs are a little bit more expensive. Um,
The jewel box.
yeah, the Gemini mailer box, consider using or getting these. They're not too expensive. What is in here? I didn't realize there was something in here. It was just falling out. Um, consider getting a bundle of those. And what I would recommend is you get these from Gemini Mailer. I usually get 135. It winds up being about $80 or $90, which is like, oh crap, that's a lot for cardboard. But just boost the Kickstarter tier priced up like $1 or $2, that sort of thing, and it covers it.
Well, I really wanted to keep my shipping price as low as I can because there was some times where I would pledge to a Kickstarter and then it's like plus. So like I see the tier and I'm like, I like this one and it's X amount of money. And then I want to pledge to it. And it's like an additional, $8 to $10. And I was like, not expecting that. I was like, oh, should I reconsider my tier? And I was
Well,
like,
well, this is
so
something that you can do with Kickstarter, because ultimately the tier price and the shipping price, the difference does not matter. You can include some of the shipping price into the actual tier price and then have the shipping price be its thing, because at the end of the day, let's say it's a $10 tier and shipping is $8. You have $10, $8. Okay, let's say you change it though. You have $12 tier, $6 shipping. At the end of the day, the person is paying $18 no matter what.
right.
So it's one of those things where like Kickstarter's always been that way. Like
Yeah.
like people having like a $15 book, or I've seen some people, it's like they have a I don't know, like 16 $17 book, and then they have like $3 shipping sort of thing. It's like there's no way there's nowhere in the United States you can get $3 shipping. They just factored part of that shipping cost into the tier costs.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's right there. It's no problem. So you could just include it within that sort of thing, as
Yep.
well as you. I understand wanting to keep the shipping cost down, but at the end of the day, people, as your brand is building up and building up, people are willing to pay an extra couple bucks, um, for like the book, like to come
Hmm.
in like perfect condition. My book is great. There are a couple spine ticks, but that's only because of polybag, that sort of thing. But with a mailer, you reduce that stuff. I don't give a crap about spine ticks. This book could have been completely water damaged, and if I don't care about that sort of thing. But I know there are people that do care about that sort of thing. So just something to consider.
Okay. I I don't know. I feel like I want to make sure that people get that chance. Like I feel like if it's an additional $4 or $5, because like at the end of the day, I can make the shipping process a lot safer for the book in and products in different ways. Or if I have bigger things I have to ship, then it's like a bigger box.
Mhm.
Um, and I, but I want to be able to keep that price point as low as I can for anybody. Like I just don't want to like. I know that I had a lot of new people coming into Kickstarter
Mhm.
for my stuff, and I don't want somebody that wants my book for the cover and for it to be like I understand if the book gets all if the mailing person bends the package and it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
shows up and it's all damaged like that, I'd be like, oh, I'd mail it out to another one to them or fix it somehow. But if they're looking for any kind of like little thing that's wrong with it, or and they're just wanting to collect the cover or collect the book, to be a part of some collection, it's like, well, I want you to have the book for it to be read and for it to be bended
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah,
flattened, and you know, you might accidentally put a coffee stain on it or something.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't want people to be concerned about that kind of thing. And I feel like if I mail it out in this bubble mailer, it's like that's as protective as it can get, as cheap as it can get, and it saved you some money, and you also got your product like is, without the factor of like a shipping, somebody manhandling it.
Yeah, I get that.
Um,
I'll counter with one thing though. We with any Kickstarter, it's not just your Kickstarter, my Kickstarter, all Kickstarters, there is no such thing as a book and it being shipped being under $10. Unless it was like our mini comic or something.
mhm.
There's no way that someone is doing $10 for the book and shipping sort of thing. So the customer is paying with most Kickstarters uh, 14 to $22 for one comic, whatever the Kickstarter is, not just mine, not just yours. That's the typical Kickstarter comic price. They're they're paying that to help get these projects like off the ground and going, and they do want to read it, but they're whether they want to beat it up or read it and then leave it in a poly bag for the rest of their life. That's up to them. Because they paid 14 to $22 sort of thing. So giving them that option of whatever they want to do, I think I think most people would be okay with a dollar added, or looking at the tier cost or the shipping cost or whatever, and saying, well, like, can I sacrifice a dollar or two in getting this, or like I mentioned before, just add a dollar or two. If someone, I'll say this, if someone is like with my comics, if someone is willing to pay $18, that's the book and shipping. If someone's willing to pay $18 for a comic, they're willing to pay $19 for it. Um, and it's not me trying to be money hungry in terms of like, oh, I want that extra dollar from them.
Mhm.
It's more just like I'm trying to get the best product to them,
Mhm.
and it might require tacking on a dollar for this thing or that thing, sort of thing.
I got you. Yeah, I I just feel like if I give somebody, I wish that there could be shipping options. If I could do
Mhm.
that, the person that wants to have it as protected as possible has this a shipping, and then somebody who's really wanting to save a few bucks has their shipping. Um, but yeah, I mean, it isn't that much to get those mailers. So, um,
It's just food for thought. And this isn't
mhm,
just like me talking to Austin. This is just anyone out there. You don't have to do this at all. It's just things to consider regarding comics and uh, shipping, and that's what this show ultimately is we talk about like us making comics, and
mhm,
as boring as like shipping can be, it can be tedious,
yeah,
especially sitting down, because whenever I have to like package stuff for a Kickstarter once it's done, I set up a folding table. I have like all this stuff like stationed essentially, because it's
mhm,
so much going into it. The only thing that like the enjoyable part is, hey, this is going to someone, and half the time it's like, ooh, I know this person. It's going to go to them. Like,
Yeah.
yay, that sort of thing. Um, Other than that, the enjoyable part of that is I get to like binge a TV show because it takes hours to do that, to package the comics and all that
Hmm.
stuff. Um, Aside from those two things, shipping is so boring, people, but it has to be done.
Yeah. Um, I think I I remember now. If I were to use something that's heavier like that cardboard, I knew that it would throw off the weight in the shipping. I think it would count more as a for those labels,
I
and I didn't want
saw.
that to go up in price either. But
Are you
like you
okay
said, I
with
mean that's a
me
matter of a
saying?
dollar 50.
Are you okay with me saying the postage costs, just the postage costs, not the Kickstarter, but the postage cost that was on the envelope that you sent me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was like 431, something
Hmm.
like that. With a Gemini mailer, like pirate ship is good with this. That's where you get your bang for your buck regarding using pirate ship is Gemini mailers. Um, if you sent it from where you were to me, you're probably looking at about 550, no more than 6 for shipping. So you factor that in, it's like, okay, it's per everyone. That's going to be $1 to $2 more of shipping. And the Gemini mailer itself, that's about 70 cents. So you're looking at average of $1.50 to $2 more per thing. Um, and yes, it is one of those things where it's like, I hate charging $2 more for someone, but if they're willing to pay 18 bucks, if they're willing to pay 17 bucks, they're willing to pay 19 bucks.
Hmm.
Um, and again, it's like I said before, it's not, hey, I want 2 extra bucks. Arg, it's not Mr. Krabsing. It is just simply, hey, like it's for these Gemini mailers. Um, if you're upfront about that, that's also another thing. That's also probably something good to do is like, hey, like this is how it's being shipped, and then this explains the cost. Because
Hmm.
I don't do it often. I usually just explain it to people when they want me to. But I see some Kickstarters that break down the cost sort of thing in their Kickstarter, and that can always be beneficial. But that's just something.
Yeah. Um, no, I'm with you on that. Uh, I'll see how people receive it. My next few Kickstarters and mailed out things might still be in the bubble mailers because
Yeah,
I got 100 of them. um, and I think that they work good. So I'm curious to see how other people will receive theirs because it is susceptible to somebody uh, in the mailing system to just completely bend it over backwards.
and I'll say
I just
this, you for future things, and you don't have to do this, but I was trying to think of an alternative than buying a bulk thing of Gemini mailers. You don't have to do this. Something that can also that is cheaper than buying these, and you have the Gemini mailers, is just buying, or if you already have, just like semi kind of thick cardboard front, or here's the comic, but with the back and board, cardboard, blue tape to hold it together, and then black mailer. That won't affect the weight if it's just like two pieces of cardboard. Um, like semi thick cardboard surprisingly goes a long way because whenever I don't have a Gemini mailer, I look around. I'm like, "Ooh, there's an Amazon box. Rip, just rip it up and just sandwich some comics or whatever together in it."
all right. Yeah, I can look into that. That's
It just helps with the
Good
sturdiness.
tips.
Even within a poly bag, it'll keep it
Yeah.
protected.
Now the thing with the poly bags, and I assumed that it would probably get kind of tight with the uh, Gemini boxes, but the just the room in them. If you plan on mailing out something like a few pins, or you have a T-shirt included, or something like that, that's gonna have to require a box,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, or a tight squeeze.
There's been some times where like it doesn't happen as much nowadays, but there's sometimes where I go to the the flat rate boxes at the post office. I'm just like, okay, I'll just get the medium one and just use that because yeah, I'm paying $14-15 shipping, but it's cheaper than like this random box I have over here that's a little bit bigger in size. It's going to be the same weight, but the dimensions are a little bit bigger, and it's going to cost me $20 shipping or whatever. So sometimes those flat rate boxes can come in handy.
Shipping getting crazy over here.
It really is.
Ooh.
I'm not even sponsored, but that's why I use Pirate Ship. Pirate Ship, please sponsor me. I will shill for you.
um, all right, so now we're going to get into um, movie theater recommendations. Strange Darling.
I put this on here. I normally don't put a recommendation on here. I put this on here because I think you will like it, Austin. And anyone listening, just go see this movie. It's going to be in theater maybe one more week because of how awful it's doing in the box office. It's a great movie. It's my third favorite movie of the year. Um, but it's just doing awful in the box office because no one knows about this thing. No one knows
Yeah.
about it. It's a serial killer movie. It's about this woman and this guy coming together at a motel, basically, and they're just going to hook up, sort of thing. Like they don't know each other. They're going to hook up, and things spiral. Things like heavily spiral, and the movie is told in 6 chapters, but they're all in like they're in different orders. There's chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The movie starts on chapter 3, and so we're in the middle of like the very beginning of this movie. It's not a spoiler. The very beginning of this movie is this woman speeding down like a back road essentially in her car, just speeding down, and the guy is in his pickup truck chasing after her, sort of thing. And it's just this high speed chase. He eventually gets out, again, not spoilers, like first 5 minutes. He gets out, he parks, he stops his truck, gets out, gets in the the back, like gets his rifle out, shoots her car, shoots the back window out as she's driving, and she kind of panics, car flips, and just kind of goes from there. And it's chapter 3, then it will go to like chapter 1, chapter 4, chapter
Mhm.
2. It goes every, but I like the pacing. At first I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this bouncing over. But like the third transition, I was like, this fits so great. Like how it's going from this part to this part. Um, Great thriller. I consider it a horror movie. There were
That's what
some
Google said.
parts. Yeah, yeah. People will either say horror, they'll say thriller. I consider it a horror movie. It's not your typical horror movie, but there are parts that like really had me clenching my fist or cringing or putting myself in a scenario and like being like, "Oh God, like
Hmm.
this is horrible." Like just stuff like that. So, Strange Darling, I highly recommend it. People go see it because this probably isn't going to be in theaters anymore for like another week. Um, Yeah, no
All
one
right.
is seeing this movie. Everyone is
We
seeing whatever the heck is out right now.
dang, it has a
Beetlejuice.
96 on Rotten Tomatoes, almost an
Deserving
8
stuff.
on IMDb.
Yeah. It deserves that, I feel.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds fun. Um, this weekend we are going to Kentucky to see Noah's Ark.
Mm.
Um, and maybe we can find some time to go watch that there, because I think that would be fun. And it looks pretty good. So
Yeah, it's
and
good. If people want to watch the trailer, you can watch the trailer. Um, don't read articles and stuff like that. Just go in blind or watch a
never
trailer
read
and just go
articles.
from there. Yeah, yeah. Don't read. Let's cancel reading.
No
Stop
more
reading.
reading. All signs are just now symbols. I guess that's still reading, though. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going out of business if we get rid of reading.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I am. You could still make it though. I'm going out of business though if reading goes out.
that's true. I've got it made, I guess. Uh, well, I sent this in your package, and I sent it to everyone that has got it. This is the.
Was that in my package?
It might not have been since you already knew about it. I
Yeah,
might
yeah,
have been
yeah.
like, he already knows. I'm not going
That makes
to put this in there. Um, but I did make this. Is for the Deep South Pair Comic Con, and it's September 14th through the 15th, and I will be a guest there, and I will be doing photo ops now, and selling the new issue, and getting to meet people, and getting to learn all about more ghost hunting and paranormal stuff. And if you are into that kind of thing, it is the show for you.
And Austin
Um,
is hosting a panel, from what I remember. Is the
right,
Exorcist and what was the other?
demonologist.
Demonologist, yeah.
So that's going to be fun. I need to start writing down some questions. But yeah, looking forward to that. Um,
Austin
but
is going to take this extremely seriously, like it should be. My stupid brain, though, I would have never do this in person. My stupid brain instantly goes to like stupid questions of like what's your favorite scary movie, or that's not even that stupid, but more like uh is it scary what you do? Do you get spooked ever? Have you ever
you
pooped yourself
frightened?
during exorcism? Have you ever
You
pooped yourself?
ever peed yourself?
Answer the question.
During or not during an exercise. But yeah, I did the design on this thing. I thought it turned
Looks
out
good.
pretty good. Now you did get a bookmark, and that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to.
I thought it
The
looked good. Let me see.
It looks good, but the Vistaprint preview fooled me when I was making it. So it didn't turn out as to the bleed that I thought it would. Like I wanted it to be, it's got some white trim there.
Oh, you didn't
Um,
want the white trim?
no, I didn't. Um,
Okay. Well,
but
that's the plus side is it's for the most part uniform to
yeah,
where it looks like it's supposed to be there. So that's the
yeah,
plus side. At least it's not like this and this. At least it's not like
it's like
large
completely
partial.
offset.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I did like the bookmark. It's just not what I was expecting.
I get that. It looks
Um,
good.
but I've
You
been
know,
doing a lot of
I will actually counter Austin's opinion on this. I think the white actually like help because there's black, there's white, and then I don't know, like I think the white like
gives it a frame.
yeah, yeah, I think it me personally, I think it works well.
Yeah, I don't think it look. I don't think it's bad per se. Um, but the preview that they had given me on Vistaprint
Wasn't
was
yeah.
not that. It wasn't accurate. But I've been doing a lot of extra designs. So I did do the Deep South logo, this part here,
That looks good.
and I've been trying to work on these things. Um, I posted a logo for Suzuki,
I
uh,
saw that. Yeah.
and I'm doing that for somebody at the gym. They haven't me do that, so I'm trying to branch out into other little projects. And oh, we were gonna. Well, we don't have to talk about, but I was gonna say me and Brendan have finally completed our Halloween mini
Yes.
comic, and the proof is coming in the mail. Um, so I will take a look at that. Hopefully, they know better to send more than just one. Maybe there's two or three sheets because it is just an 8.5 by 11.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's
So
there's no like crazy extra cost for them. It's
mm-mm.
for them. It's basically it costs the same to print one as it would to print three or whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
that way I can kind of mess up
try them
one or
out.
two
Yeah, yeah.
folds. If not, I'm gonna have to be
Super
very
meticulous.
meticulous.
Yeah.
All right, but me and Brendan have both watched Alien Romulus, and we are going to uh, dive into that review. So if you want to catch us there and catch our other reviews, it's on my channel for American Demon Comics. I've been Austin Light with American Demon Comics, and I've been joined by Brandon with Dismay Comics. And is there anything you want to end on?
Um, follow our social media stuff. Uh, Facebook, Instagram. Go to AmericanDemonComics.com. I don't have a domain. I don't have a website. You have to go to social media. Um, but yeah, just follow that stuff. Follow along for Gallows Man Kickstarter stuff coming up pretty soon, September 10th. Um, and help push this project, this thing that has been in the making, this one issue for a little over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm proud of it. As well as you, if you haven't checked out any of the issues, all of them are there on the Kickstarter, all three issues, as well as all the other comics I've done. Disney Avenue 1 and 2, Tales from Town City #1.
Oh, okay.
There's variant covers of all that stuff. A lot of that's in add-ons in terms of those type of comics, but those are in add-on sections. And if you want original art, there's a couple original pieces from the main cover artist Thomas Tika's. Those are the big bundle stuff, and that's tier talk. I don't care to talk about tier talk right now, but yeah, you can check that out.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. And I will talk to you soon. And we will see y'all on the next American Dismay.
Take care.